Y'all know it's BC. Anything for Clarence don't make sense. I'm reacting to another video regarding Sonya Massey, and a lot of influencers have negative things to say about the incident by literally proclaiming that it was justified that she was deleted by this officer who had 6 jobs in 4 years, who literally had 2 cases of DUIs. I mean, you really can't make this up. Let's get right into the video.
Those people is Tommy Sotomayor. What did Tommy Sotomayor post? He says this: after all the lies blacks, Democrats, and liberal media have told about what happened to Sonya Massey, I decided to show you that she did in fact throw a large pot of boiling hot water at the cops before being watch, and can you tell me why they're openly lying about what happened?
Let me stop right there, because if you ever seen the tape, if you ever reviewed the video, whatever the case may be, you will see that number one, she called the cops to come there. She thought a prowler was around. She believed that an intruder was close in proximity. Now, when the cops came there, it was obvious that Sonya was dealing with some mental disorders, spiritual warfare, something psychologically. Because she mentioned it to the cops. She said, I need help. That is just, I'm taking medicine. From that point on, they should have never proceeded forth in terms of going into her home. I don't know on what probable cause they had to enter into her home. That's what people are ignoring. Individuals like Tommy Sotomayor. On what basis, on what grounds did they need to enter into her home? And then when they entered into her home, they decided to badger her, to literally come at her in a nefarious way, being very abrasive and condescending, knowing that this woman was suffering from a mental disorder. But it's funny how they'll look past that whole situation just to point out something that they believe is justified. You cannot make this up.
Now, so many people were triggered by what Tommy said, but I won't even deal with that right now because it's not important. Another supporter of Tommy, Myron Gang, says, Tommy telling the truth as usual. Boiling hot water is definitely classified as a deadly weapon, and this woman threw it at this cop after being warned not to.
Let me stop right there. Number one, he threatened to shoot her in the face after he told her to go check on the boiling water in the kitchen. Mind you, she had no intention of using that water on anyone. She probably was making tea or trying to make something to eat. You do not know why she was boiling the water. But what's crazy is when she goes into the kitchen to tend to the water, he makes it seem as if she was going to use that water in a negative way, in a very evil way, to assault someone, right? That's why she said, I rebuke you. She said, I rebuke you, because the way that you were trying to make it appear at that moment in time, she knew that he was trying to emphasize that she was going to do something with that water when she wasn't. And that's what people don't understand. They had no business going into her home. They had no business asking for an information. They had no business doing anything of that nature. He had no business reaching for his gun just because she said, I rebuke you. That is not a negative thing in terms of an assault. If I hear somebody say, I rebuke you, I'm not going to think this person's going to physically harm me. But he started going for his weapon. So that put her in a position of fear. Everybody doesn't react to the flight the same. The flight is different for every human being. Once they get cornered in a situation that they feel afraid, especially somebody with a mental disorder, it can completely play out in a whole nother scenario than what originally happens with people that are not dealing with such disorders. And let me just do this right quick. I'm going to play the video in which they're trying to justify that. All right, so let's do this. Let's go to here. All right, let's go to this right quick. I'm going to play this video that they're trying to see through the water. Look at her. She had no intention. She went like, no. Was she trying to do it at that moment? No. Somebody has a
Grabs
gun
the pot,
at you pointed.
throws it at the cop. You can see the water splash.
But you're going to literally shoot her in the head because you walked around the counter. She had no intention of throwing. Watch the video again. Let me know she had intentions of throwing this pot when she's in the kitchen. Look at this right here. What intention?
She sets the pot down.
She had no intention whatsoever of throwing that pot. She actually put her head down because she felt that something was off, that something was wrong. So for people that, and don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of things when it comes down to political aspects and government and the way that they try to push certain narratives, but that's not what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at facts. She only tilted the pot over after somebody claimed they was going to shoot her in the face and actually did so. That's why he didn't have his body cam on. That's why he had 6 jobs in 4 years. He had 2 DUIs in the past. He was never supposed to be suited up. So anybody trying to justify that is crazy. That is nonsense. It's like they ignored every aspect of this guy's past to try to justify what he did. I'm sorry, I don't ride with that. That woman was suffering from a mental disorder. They should never went to the home. And what they should have done if they had resources of somebody that can literally reach out to her or speak with her to make sure that she was okay that night, that would have been completely fine. But for y'all to go into that woman's home and then treat her as if she was a criminal from the very start, in which she called the police, that is nuts. She's the one that called the police. So why are y'all tripping about it? But it's crazy, man. But a lot of people have their opinions about this situation in terms of the woman's actions. But like I said before, people dealing with psychological trauma or disorders will never react the same with somebody that's not having that issue. So you cannot make this up. And I'm out, man. B4 Reacts.